Just a couple years ago, the Atlanta Motor Speedway was in need of a dire repave. What the facility did next was quite the transformation, banking the corners to 28 degrees, widening the racing surface, and upping the intensity. It is playoff race number 2 and round number 18 of the Speed Racing Network HairClub Truck Series' 7th season here at virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway. I am Emerson Arden, and Jonathan Byer will be joining myself alongside in the virtual booth this evening a little later on tonight, and we'll be excited to bring you live coverage from virtual Hampton, Georgia. And last time out, it was a nerfed James Shanewolf taking victory in Chi-Town, with Jason Green snagging the playoff lucky dog and inserting himself into championship contention. Tonight, it's these drivers' seasons on the line with a playoff race at Stock Car's version of a casino. Back racing, high speed, high octane, close quartered racing is coming up next on Speed Racing Network. And welcome everyone here to the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway. Great day for racing tonight here at virtual ATL, and we'll take a look at the playoff standings coming into today's race. There they are on your screen. 16 drivers now contending for the championship at this point. There's those 16. Jason Green did get himself in with that playoff lucky dog, and we look to James Shanewolf, the only name in green. He is the only one on this graphic that is not coming into today's race with any sort of stress. James Shanewolf is locked into the next round. Everyone else in a highly contested battle to see who will make the next round of the Speed Racing Network playoffs. And so that is a look at your playoff standings. We're gonna now head back to trackside to take a look at our starting lineup, and there it is on your screen. And the starting lineup, David Flanagan up on the pole position once again. If I'm correct, that is 2 pole positions in a row for the 5 of David Flanagan. And so David Flanagan on a roll in qualifying. Jason Green with that playoff lucky dog, trying to work himself into the next round of playoffs, starting second, and he tied the provisional pole lap time. So it's a tie in qualifying atop the qualifying charts for David Flanagan and Jason Green. Flanagan set the time first. Flanagan gets virtue of that. Andrew Harris, Connor Cunningham, row 2. Drake Carty, Austin DeLong, row 3. Kyle Johnson, Bo Brady, row 4. Michael Sidor and Ben Park round out the top 10. We find our way back to row number 6. It'll be James Jackson and Dylan Godinez. Wally Babb and Lane Doyle will start 13th and 14th, with Sean Merriman P15 and Jeffrey Vickery 16th. Row 9 will be James Shanewolf and Jason Kratke. How about Joe Ruggles and Dalton McKinney rounding out the top 20? We found our way back to 21st position. Zachary Tallman in the 90 machine. Spencer Brown will start 22nd in that 71. And these drivers did not qualify for tonight's race. Well, they qualified and they're going to be racing, but they did not set lap times down here. Shane Ledoux, actually the last of the drivers to set lap times there in 23rd. But 24th place Scott Claw, 25th place Kyle Spees. Shout out to series director there, Jim Walton, joining up as series director tonight. He will not be racing, by the way. So it'll be Daniel Park then starting 26th, Jeffrey Radke 27th, and Chris Luttrell 28th. 4 playoff drivers, they're starting at the rear end of the field. That'll be intriguing to see how their strategy of hanging out in the back, letting the accidents kind of fall their way, work out for them tonight. And so here we are at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. The trucks are rolling on their formation laps. And there is Jason Green's number 55 machine. And it's going to be a fun one tonight. Now, Green is still forgetting to don that playoff red. But you know what? We will not be forgetting that playoff red on the timing screen that'll appear on lap number 2 and every green flag lap for the rest of the broadcast. The left-hand side of your screen, that timing screen will have red names. Every red name on the left-hand side is in championship contention. Every other name is a non-playoff driver. And in that case, that's the special thing about playoffs in stock car racing. The non-playoff competitors still have an opportunity to win races and influence the championship, although they can't win it for themselves. So Will we see a playoff driver in victory lane tonight? Or will it be a playoff spoiler as the iRacing.com safety vehicle finds its safety down in the pit lane? The field in the hands of David Flanagan. Green flag is in the air, racing from Atlanta. One lap removed from 90 here at Atlanta. It's Jason Green out in front. Connor Cunningham hot in pursuit, pushing that 55 machine. And you'll also be seeing a lot of that tonight. A little bit of bum drafting, if you will. And that is the name of the game here at Atlanta now with this reconfiguration of the racetrack. David Flanagan, a pole sitter, down on the inside. Not a whole lot of help. It's Andrew Harris, that truck to his to the inside. P2 on the inside lane, trying to give a push. Drake Carty as well, a little bit of a checkup down there. Austin DeLong and Bo Brady, two of the non-playoff drivers up on the high side, getting a little boost up there.
Emerson, looks like I'm just in time for this one. I caught just the start there. I was hopping in here. So far, so good.
Absolutely, JB. Welcome in here. Atlanta, we are working lap number 3 of 90. Very clean start to this point. Flanagan and Green tied for the pole. Flanagan was the pole sitter. Now falls back to third. It's the Park Brothers Racing duo of Jason Green and Connor Cunningham. Bump drafting their way to the front, clearing out to the front there, the top two. And now it gets a little dicey further on back. It's Jason Green, Austin DeLong battling it out there for that 4th position. Now DeLong, no real drafting help up there. Maybe the 29 there of James Jackson can get up there and be a little bit of a boost. But for right now, Austin DeLong is hanging solo on the top side.
The one unique thing about this race specifically, Emerson, is it's only 90 laps, and at most mile and a half on our schedule, we run at least 120. Some are all the way up to 140, 150. So this race is quick, and it'll go by in a hurry, especially with about 30-second laps that they're clicking off here. So you don't have a lot of time to kind of buy your time that you normally would at a Daytona or Talladega that's 90 laps, because there's a lot more race that has to happen. Here, these laps are going to go by really quick. So finding yourself in a prime position is going to be important, especially with just how narrow this track is. If you're on the backside of the top 20, it's going to be hard to work yourself up because getting a third lane is so difficult. We saw it this past weekend with the NASCAR National Series out there. And on the surface, it's very similar. There's probably a little bit more grip on the virtual version of Atlanta than there is now in real life. But just getting that third lane's hard, so it's just hard to make your way up front rather than you would at a Daytona Talladega where you can get some friends up there against the wall and make hay.
And we're looking up above the Atlanta Motor Speedway right now. You can see as they pass under that turn 1 standings, and they'll go into the banking of turn 1. But the point I was really trying to illustrate is you see how everyone has already gravitated towards the bottom of the racetrack. There's only about 5 trucks there lined up on that outside lane, a few more stragglers behind, but not a whole lot of motion up on that top side right now. Everyone's kind of playing the kind of just ride game in. And you'll notice that tonight as opposed to Daytona and Talladega earlier in the season, JB. One, because, well, playoff drivers' seasons are on the line. Drake Carty, you know, a driver who, you know, won many races in the regular season, had a great, you know, regular season outing, you know, capped off the regular season with a victory, had a terrible Chicagoland race, and he finds himself, you know, down by the cut line.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing you talk about, all these trucks navigating the bottom, what was interesting this past weekend is the truck race, we saw them like the middle of the racetrack a lot. The Xfinity cars loved the top, and the Cup cars loved the bottom. So it was just kind of a mix match of everything. And, you know, the iRacing reconfiguration of Atlanta is taking into account like that right after the repave. But based on what we saw this weekend, we know the track texture, the actual surface is a whole lot different. And so you're going to probably see more of a grippier side of a version of that in this race. And so I think that's why we're seeing the bottom be a little bit more successful, because it's just such a shorter way around. But if you get a good group of guys up top, you can push pretty pretty high. You see, Bo Brady was getting a little jostled up there on corner entry there.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's going to be different ways to play this, right? There's some drivers that say the front is the safest. The other side of that coin, JB, is some drivers saying the back is the safest. And look no further to Daytona race winner and the driver right now who's currently 5th in the playoff standings, JB, Chris Luttrell. And right now he's 26. So right now, you know, if the race were to finish right here, it would not be a great result. But, you know, he's already done it once before this season, getting a race win at a plate race. You know, why not here in Atlanta when, you know, his season's on the line?
Yeah, you bring up a good point there. And, you know, I also will bring up the fact that this race, while it's in the middle of the playoffs, is probably the best chance for somebody that has to win, right? Somebody that's on, you know, I'd say 13th or back in the point standings, you know, because, you know, Andrew Harris, Dan Park, 3 points out, in 2 races you can find 3 points. But I'm looking a little further back towards the backside of the standings, somebody like Sean Merriman or even further back. Yeah, it's hard to make up that many points, and so like a Sean Corcoran that's searching for 11 points, yeah, that seems like a lot, but we don't have stage racing this year. And so that means you have to find 11 positions between this week and next week. You know, if you have a bad race this week, then that becomes an impossible challenge. You know, the best way to know you're in the next round is just to win. So, you know, a lot of these trucks, Emerson, on corner entry get a little out of handles, if you will. We're seeing guys kind of maybe get a little loose and they get a left side down there on the apron, or it looks like some of these trucks are pushing up a little bit. So handling is definitely becoming a factor. You see it right there at the 24. In corner entry there, he kind of dips a little bit left. That can be the truck just wanting to kind of migrate itself left, which you know, I don't remember much about driving the trucks here, but I remember when I drove the Xfinity cars here, as the run got on, that the vehicle just got a lot looser in corner entry.
Yeah.
You kind of had to be paying attention, otherwise it would go the wrong way in a hurry.
And here's another thing to think about, JB. Yes, tire wear does matter everywhere, but plate races, we kind of throw it out the window a little bit. However, at Atlanta, it's a weird mix. Tire wear does have a say in the handling of your truck about 20 laps into the run here. And so you might have to see drivers start lifting on corner entry to get those trucks settled. Yeah,
and also we talk, you know, if you're way back in there, like somebody like Scott Kalal, Dylan Godina, Zach Tallman, you're way in the back, that dirty air makes it tighter sometimes too. And so you have to lift on corner entry, especially if it's a truck on your outside, not to just smack right into them. So it's definitely something we keep an eye on. But also the thing to keep an eye on is what we saw happen between Carson Hocevar and Ryan Blaney on Sunday, is if somebody's pushing you on corner entry, not like at Daytona Talladega where you kind of get away with it. Here at Atlanta, the truck you're pushing is going to go sideways in a hurry. So you got to be really mindful of where and when you're pushing. And these straightaways are so short, Emerson, you can't push for very long. It's just something you have to keep in the back of your mind.
And what you're seeing here is that outside lane is now coming to fruition, JB, because I think what I said, right, about tire wear, the drivers on the inside are having to lift a little bit more. The outside does not have to lift as much on ordered tires. And another thing to note, right, Connor Cunningham was up there with Jason Green. He, since was shuffled out of line, we saw him drop back. He is deep in the middle of the pack now, away from his teammate. I believe maybe he was trying to go get maybe the other teammate, Ben. But for right now, Connor, you know, he was up front relatively safe. Caution on the speedway. And not seeing anyone light up. A little bit of damage for Shane Ledoux, the 12 machine. And we shall, yeah, I mean, that would be my guess. So we're going to take a look and see if Shane Ledoux had any.
This is a track, Emerson, that has really tight caution maps as well. So a truck can kind of just get parallel to the racing surface, and iRacing throws the caution. It's a pretty sensitive track, I've noticed, except for the giant apron area.
Here we go. The 12, Shane Ledoux.
Ooh.
Up by the wall. Little contact with Dan Park. And, rear end gets into that outside retaining wall. You know, you're right perpendicular to racing traffic. Caution comes out.
Yeah, on the racing surface, so above that yellow and white line, or red and white line, rather, it's the caution parameters are really, really tight, which just means that naturally, if a truck gets like that sideways, it's going to throw it out. But if you spin on the apron, you're kind of out of luck. But there was already right side damage there on the 12 truck, so he definitely got up into the wall before that time. Wondering if that had anything to do with that incident, if maybe the steering wheel was off alignment a little bit or something. But luckily, no big damage to anybody else. Dan Park will probably have a little bit of right front damage, but it doesn't look to be too bad. That was a great job by Lane Doyle to avoid that incident.
So we'll just see one more time here on board with the 12. He kind of goes into turn 3, turns a little late into the corner.
Oh, yeah, loose.
Yeah, I mean, he was just dealing with loose. I mean, he didn't even turn the wheel on corner entry, you know, because of how loose the truck was. It was kind of going with the track, and then tried to turn a little later in the corner, and the truck just went around. I'm
not sure how Lane Doyle did not get into the 12 there, because that he saw how close it was, and that's I would say a championship contender there, Emerson, that almost got caught up in that one. You talked a little bit ago about, you know, some people think the front's the safest, some people think the back's the safest. Let me tell you something. There's not a safe place out there.
There is not.
In every area, you think you got it figured out, and then you don't. So
first to 43rd, none of it's safe.
Yeah, exactly. When the racing's that tight, that close, you're right. There's just not a safe place. Interesting note. Obviously, we're talking about handling. These drivers get 3 sets of tires in this race. You know, with fuel, you're really only talking about a one-stop race if you stretch it. Definitely with cautions like this, you'll be able to make it on one stop. So it'll be interesting to see what guys choose to do. Now, the top 14 drivers stayed out under this caution. Everybody from 15th on back came down pit road. So the first 5 guys that came down are going to be Connor Cunningham, David Flanagan, Dylan Godinez, Dalton McKinney. So this could be something that just maybe they can run a little bit longer on that run if it goes green. But, you know, if it's anything like we've seen with the handling, those fresh tires, you know, with only, you know, probably 17 green flag laps fresher, could help them make it through the field a little bit easier, or at least be more confident to make moves, right? Because you're going to know that the truck's underneath you. For example, we saw the 12. I mean, by himself, just get kind of loose on corner entry and just never was able to catch the truck. And so definitely something that can happen pretty easily.
By the way, 3 of our playoff guys came back in there, JB, to top off. Merriman, Dan Park, and Luttrell.
Yeah. Maybe want to stand back,
yep,
quote-unquote, out of trouble. But they might have to stay further back than what we saw of your Dan Park.
Dan was in that incident.
Yeah, and he was back there. So like I said, there's just not always a safe place to be.
Well, it was a clean 17-lap run till that yellow. We'll try it again as the iRacing.com safety vehicle will find its safety down in the pit lane. The field in the hands of Jason Green, and racing resumes from Atlanta. How about a 180-mile-an-hour game of chicken? Jason Green goes up to the top side blocks. Andrew Harris, I'm sure Harris wanted to drop back down, but the 22 there of Austin DeLong was right there as well. And so we are getting side-by-side up front. Jason Green, Austin DeLong up front. Big push, Drake Carty to the back end of the 22, and it's a non-playoff driver leading this field right now in the 22 of Austin DeLong.
Yeah, I mean, for the guys not in the playoffs, there's still weekly prize money up for grabs for them, so they're gonna give it all they can to have at least a chance at it, and so that's kind of what you're seeing there. Little aggressive pushing there by the 59, but they're getting away with it for right now, but we'll see if that continues.
Yeah, we know Drake likes to be aggressive with the, with everything, and it's gotten him to victory lane 3 times this season, but it also got him into trouble a couple times. So we'll see here if he can keep that nose clean.
I would call him the Carson Hocevar of SRN. Right? He's got the talent, he's got the speed. He's aggressive about it. But you know what? There are drivers that's how they've made their way. I mean, you think about drivers like Kyle Busch, who's won more National Series races than anybody else. There's a reason for that. If he sees a hole, he's going to take it. He sees a run, he's going to take it. So it does win in this sport sometimes. Might not make friends, but that's not what you're always here to do.
3 wide for that 4th position. It is David Flanagan shoving his nose in the middle of Kyle Johnson and Andrew Harris. 3 wide now, Green and Carty. And DeLong now fighting the 55 of Jason Green. Flanagan shoves himself in between the 55 and the 87 on the top side. And so Flanagan now to the back end of the 55 and a huge push there. Flanagan wasting no time trying to get forward. And I don't know if Green is necessarily comfortable with Flanagan pushing him, but you know what? Your friends are where you find them, and so are your enemies.
That's right. That's right. And through that tri-oval there, Emerson, this is a dangerous tri-oval to be even 3 wide or 2 wide in, with the weird angles and how the lines don't necessarily line up. Pretty easy to get yourself in trouble, but they made it work that time. What's also interesting, Emerson, I was saying, David Flanagan came down the pit lane that time. Not sure what his service was, if he took tires or just fuel, but if he took tires, man, he got from 15th to 1st in a hurry.
There's the confidence. You're right, JB.
Yeah.
Now, Flanagan, you know, wasting no time to get to the front, also not saving those tires. Somebody like Lane Doyle, who did come down and put tires, he's still at 12, and I'm sure Lane Doyle, of most of the drivers in the field, could, you know, make that same run Flanagan did, but Doyle being a little more meticulous.
Well, just confirming, Emerson, 15-second pit stop for Flanagan, so that would be 4 tires and fuel. So that's definitely fresh tires on that 5 truck, and paying off to this point. But you know, are you going to need that set later? We'll find out. Not a place, you know. Feels like a conversation we'd be having about old Atlanta. You know, you gotta save a set of tires. Gotta have a set of tires. But it's just kind of the way this track is aging and becoming either way.
But while, you know, old Atlanta, absolutely tire grip meant you were fast there, tire grip here means, you know, you're able to do more, like you saw Flanagan there. You know, if Flanagan's at a tire disadvantage later, he won't be able to make the chop blocks as, you know, desired later on in the race. You know, and some of these guys may be banking on this race getting a little chaotic towards the end, which is very valid. It's a plate race. It's a playoff race. You know, there's a lot on the line. We're still in the first third of the race. And so who's to say what'll happen in the, you know, the home stretch. So right now, Flanagan and Green going at it. By the way, Flanagan needed a good run as well. Flanagan finds himself deep in the standings of the playoff standings, so he needs a good run here. Going up to the front, getting himself some laps led. That'll be another bonus point to his name. But also got the pole and trying to see if he can maintain some track position.
Yeah, and you still get your regular race bonus points, Emerson, through the playoffs. So you get a bonus point for the pole, you get a bonus point for leading a lap, you get a bonus point for leading the most laps. So there's extra points to be had, and if you're in the playoffs, every point matters. I feel like we say that every week, but it just rings true every time, right? So if you can go grab a couple extra points from those little statistical categories, you're going to go do it. And Mr. Flanagan's doing a good job giving himself a chance right there. And, you know, the tires got him to the front, and now he's kind of just stuck here, which, you know, nice clean air on the nose of that truck's never going to hurt the handling long term either. So I kind of like that move to get himself some track position early, and his goal now is going to be to hold on to it.
Absolutely, we shall see. Right now, Lane Doyle, the next highest running driver on tire shape, he's still back there in that same position. So Doyle not in, you know, any hurry to move forward. And,
yeah, and he's somebody that might be playing it more.
Oh, bad push there, Flanagan, nearly off the nose of Austin DeLong.
Yeah, that's a tough place to push right there, and the 5 truck found out. His eyes are wide open now, aren't they?
So you know what? Maybe that extra tire grip helped him save that truck.
Yeah, maybe on some warmer tires that thing would have gone around, but it just shows you it's so treacherous to push here, Emerson. You almost have to just use the air bubble as the push. I mean, just getting to somebody's bumper with the angles and the steering wheel input, kind of being most of the way around this racetrack, just not a great place to push. And he's still getting his bumper worn off by Austin DeLong.
Shane Ledoux hits the pit lane. Also want to note, Dylan Godinez is 20 seconds off the pace right now. Not sure how he lost the drive. We'll have to maybe do a little more investigating there, but Godinez trying to hang on to what he's gotten. And also Scott Kalal and Zachary Tallman a few seconds off the pack as well. But they are running together.
Yeah, kind of doing their own thing back there. Yeah. Maybe they expect this to get hectic. I don't blame them. It's getting pretty dicey up here.
Yep.
I mean, you just see on corner entry, Emerson, the trucks look really uncomfortable.
Oh, man.
Really tight, like that. You see in the middle of the corner, that push up towards the wall. And then we saw the 12 be loose on corner entry. I mean, as simple as this sounds, a speedway racing, these guys are driving these trucks right now because they're just not comfortable. I mean, it's the best way to put it. There's just a high level of an uncomfortability getting this truck around this mile-and-a-half track.
Right. In layman's terms, it is the simplest racing. Foot to the floor, follow, which line has the best momentum. But man, when you are in the heart of the pack, or even up front and you're receiving pushes, you are on edge. I think some of the hardest, or most grip moments I've had with my steering wheel, the tightest I've gripped my steering wheel has been in plate races, man.
Yep.
Middle 3 wide, or
Or you're aiming for the smoke.
Yep.
When you see the wreck, and you're just hoping you come out on the other side. But this, unlike other super speedways, Emerson, the apron to the wall is so small here. So when wrecks happen, there's just nowhere to go. Especially if it's in the corner. Now in the backstretch, you kind of got some room down there, but I mean, it's tight racing, and that's why you just don't see a lot of 3 wide. It's just not very easy. Of course, we get to the end of this thing, you're gonna see some 3 wide. But there's places it gets really, really sketchy, especially right here through the front stretch. Just the weird angles that that kind of apron line follows. You see them kind of clip it as they go through there. It causes issues because it's hard to know which line you're supposed to be in. Unlike how they've done the Atlanta painting in real life recently, we don't have those white stripes all the way around, so it can be hard to find your lane.
Shane Ledoux has had another moment. He has crashed out and has filled back to the pit lane, and he has called it a day. So that'll do it for
trucks. Emerson in the top row. I think the second, third truck in line. Last time by in 3 and 4 caught a little the outside wall in the middle of the corner. We kind of talked about that pushing up. They got a little too close to it last time. That's kind of what's dragging that top side back a little bit. So that's something to keep an eye on. And maybe that's why these truckers are choosing to gravitate more towards the bottom.
I was about to say, you see a lot of people leaving that top side, trying to drop down low. Still have the, Park Brothers Racing teammates, Green and Harris, up there as well with last week's winner, James Shane Wolf. Shane Wolf is just here for fun. They tack on another win. It doesn't hurt. He can still earn some $30 tonight. Yep. Although he's locked into the next round. So.
And as easy as a single file line sounds, Emerson, it's not, right? Because then the accordion effect comes into play because everybody's just so tight, front to back, all in one line, and one person checks up, and 3 trucks back, unless you have a really good spotter in your ear, you're not going to know that, and things get bunched up in a hurry. But just as we say that, now we're back to 2x2 almost all the way through.
Yeah, interesting how that works, and still Flanagan, the only driver really to take advantage of that extra, tire wear. We'll see if any other drivers who pit under that caution, like Lane Doyle, Wally Babb.
Whoa, the 22 on corner entry there got a little sideways between the 5 and 59, and luckily that top line's given him enough space to operate, but that could have been a moment there for sure.
Could have been. You're seeing a lot more squirrely moments all throughout the field. We work lap 41 of 90 for some of these guys. They're still on 40 lap old tires.
Yeah. Which, Emerson, that means, the pit window is probably just opening up. This is the early window. But one thing also about Atlanta, and you see it right there, that white line on the bottom, it takes a long time to get around all the way to the pit lane, all the way through. You almost lose 2 laps, which in a normal mile and a half, you come up about a lap and a half behind the leader. But here you lose a whole nother half lap, basically, with having to track the apron through turns 3 and 4. So a green flag pit stop's not what these guys want to do, but it looks like we're getting close to where they're going to have to do it.
My question is, JB, is I haven't ran the Atlanta with the new pit lane. Do you have to, run 45 all the way around, or is it 90 then 45?
I actually couldn't tell you. I haven't run it since they've updated the timing lines down there. Cause now you see the white stripes that cut across the painted off apron they have. I think you obviously have to be under control. And you got to keep it within those bounds, so you do have to be going slow enough to do that, because you're not going to be able to track 180 around the apron. But you're definitely going to have to slow down quite a bit. I don't know what the exact mile an hour is, but you do give up a substantial amount of time. And so If I'm somebody like Flanagan, that's why I kind of like the pitting early, because then if there's a caution or something through the pin cycle, you know, just taking the wave is not going to help you if you lose 2 laps, and you still got to get another lap back. So, I just kind of like that strategy he's used so far. We'll see how it pans out. But,
Here we go.
these guys are going to be pitting here probably through the next 5 laps.
Also, Dylan Godina is losing a lap here to the field. Where does everyone find their way around the 88? Getting a little tight. Flanagan up the track, 3 wide with the leaders. Godina's down off the racing surface doing the gentleman move.
Yeah, that's the smart move there, because that's just a really bad place for them to be catching you. And he's going to ride the apron into the turn there. That's a really good job by Dylan. Yeah, well, there's not a great place. That's probably the worst, though. So that's a really good job by Dylan, just knowing what his situation is, and just getting himself out of the way, because he doesn't want to be in a wreck either. You're already going a lap down. You don't want to end your day early. So does the smart thing there.
Salvage what you can in your race. Catch the draft. Don't lose another lap, and try to get lucky dog maybe a little later on.
Well, that's the other thing about a 1.5 mile speedway, Emerson. You lose the draft, you lose a lap quickly. At Daytona, Talladega, you got time. You got a lot of
you
laps
probably would have had another like
boring.
7-10 laps before you got lapped there. Maybe like 5 to 7 laps. But
moment
there, DeLong under the red line, back up the track, right in front of Kyle Johnson. Everyone lifts, gives them room, and we stay green.
Good job by the field to keep that green right there, because that could have wadded him up. I don't know if you caught it, Emerson, but Flanagan was really sideways getting to 1 last time by, like he was getting to push from the 22. And then the 48 just hauled the 22 off into the next set of corners. So these guys are not being shy with their pushes late in the run.
Shane Wolf to the inside of the 55, and here comes Flanagan. And you know what, JB? I don't know what these guys are feeling, because I'm not out there in one of these trucks right now, but it looks to me like Flanagan has already used up his tire advantage on the field. And he's, maybe almost even more worn tires, or at least, hotter tires than the rest of the guys around him.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely had to use them getting up through there. So that's a reality of the fact, too. But what I'm seeing, Emerson, if you look further back, look how everybody's starting to migrate to the bottom. That's a sign that pits are on everybody's mind. So they're going to be trying to get down. The last thing you want to do is get stuck up top, because either then you don't get to pit with the guys you want to pit with, you get to pit by yourself, and just like every other drafting track, not a good thing. Yep, Shane Wolf now hung in the middle.
Yep, in the sucker hole, they call it. DW called it for many years.
Right. Yeah, look how many trucks have migrated to the bottom. It's really broke that top line up quite a bit. And we'll see. You'll be able to see on the backstretch. That's when they'll peel down to the inside. Man, this is tight through here. 3 wide. Shane Wolf's holding it, though. He doesn't really have any help behind him, but he's not really getting sucked back through there like we normally see.
Here comes Lane Doyle on those fresher tires. Lane Doyle peeking his head out. He came to play. He's trying to get to his teammate.
Long game. Yeah, kind of a long game we talked about.
Oh, here we go. 3 by 3 out in front of the field. It's Flanagan and then a whole pack of trucks. 3 by 3 by 3 for the race lead. Jason Green, James Shane Wolf, and David Flanagan. 40 laps to go this time by here at Atlanta. Teammates on the high side, teammates in the middle, and Flanagan and Cardi down low. Everyone trying to hang on to what they got.
Yeah, these trucks aren't handling good either. This is actually quite impressive. They've gone this long 3 wide, Emerson. I didn't think we'd make it 1 lap.
Harris catches the wall.
They're making it work. That's going to kind of jumble everybody up here. Looks like everybody's checking up just fine. Still 3 wide, a little further back. This top line's really going to be hurting now, though.
Shane Wolf jumps in. Oh, contact! Harris going round. Makes more contact with Sidor. Oh, no. And the caution's going to come out for the 2nd time tonight. And we will not get green flag pit stops.
Nope, this will be the pit stops for sure here. Poor Andrew Harris. Rough start to the playoffs for him. I mean, came in here, good amount of points, and he's had a rough 2 weeks.
You can say that again. We're going to go all the way back to turns 1 and 2, JB, because that's where this started. And you'll see here what I'm talking about. Andrew Harris there on the outside lane. It's going to be a little hard to tell there, but right there he catches the wall.
Yep.
And Lane Doyle.
Everybody's a little jumbled here. Yep. There's really no top line at this point. It's kind of become the middle line, so Harris kind of up there on an island by himself.
Just a little bit of contact with Lane Doyle.
Yeah.
And then
might have had it saved, but
Connor gets
Connor
involved.
got a piece of that too. Don't know how that.
Oh, and Vickery.
Vickery. I mean, 4 trucks. That's still a lot less than I was thinking.
Yeah,
we would have.
I was not
started up front.
Not optimistic for the outcome of that wreck. I'll tell you.
No shocker. Everybody's coming down pit road here. We'll reset it once we get the chance. Yeah, there was a chance Andrew could have saved this truck, but bounced off the 86 just one too many times. Right here, maybe, but we already have wheel back into it. That's just a hard truck to save. It's going to be tough damage for both the 86 and 87.
And Connor took a good lick as well.
Yeah. Vickery might be okay there. That didn't look too terribly bad. Looking at Connor's truck right now, it looks to be okay, so I think he'll live to fight another day. But obviously Emerson, everybody's here is going to fill it up, get 4 fresh tires, and get on down the road. Track position, though, if you were able to get it on this last run, this might be where it pays off.
There we go. Wally Babb wins the race off pit lane, but he only took 2 tires, JB.
That's an interesting thought. I mean, hey, I talked about track position. That's one of the easiest ways to get it, right? Spend less time on pit road, get in front of everybody. We'll see. What I worry about, though, Emerson, on 2 tires is the handling of these trucks, right? Yep. We already know they're a little loose. I'm assuming he's taking right sides. If that's the case, it's not really going to help you get any tighter. So
nope.
We'll see what happens. Andrew Harris has retired from this event, so he is done for the night. So 2 playoff races, 2 early exits for the 87 truck. So he's going to put himself in a situation next week, Emerson, where he's going to have either a stellar race start to finish or possibly win that one.
Yeah, sounds like he's going to be in a must-win situation. We'll wait for the math on that one, but yeah, not looking great for Andrew. So here we go. 36 to go, and we doubling up here? We are? Yeah, we are. A little hard to tell there if we were doubling up. So we are doubling up. And this now, JB, this is our second caution of the day, but oh boy, final pit stop has already been made. Season's on the line. This could be an interesting run.
Yeah. Emerson's is tough because you want to get aggressive, but we still got 36 to go. So how aggressive do we exactly?
Well, I know Flanagan's going to be aggressive to stay up front. Carty's going to be aggressive to stay up front. DeLong hasn't won an SRN race ever. I'd imagine he'd probably be a little aggressive. James Jackson, running the plate races this year. Imagine he wants to get himself a win as well. Bo Brady has never won an SRN race. Throw him in there. Spencer Brown. E10. He's never won an SRN race. A lot of winless guys up here. What would you do for a race victory, JB? Could become a little desperate as well.
Yeah, that's a loaded question there. What would you do to win a race? I think we're about to find out.
36 laps to go, 35 at the stripe. The iRacing.com safety vehicle finds its safety down in the pit lane. The field in the hands of David Flanagan. Racing resumes from Atlanta. David Flanagan still holding the lead here at Atlanta. Jason Green.
Oh, I don't know if you caught the 9 truck flashing across the middle of the pack right there, but he was about in a whole wad of trucks. That's Bo Brady in the top line there. You almost read the door number looking down the back straightaway that last time.
But you can already tell the intensity of the pack is already upped. Jason Green is really hounding the tailgate of the 5 truck. He's going to see how well Flanagan can hold on to his truck.
And I think if these guys know, it's just if you're back there, it's hard to make, up to the front quickly. So you got to start now. Just trying to figure out what line's going to work, who you want to be with. If you're somebody like Ben Park, Jason Kradke, you're kind of back there a little bit. You got to get on it in a hurry because 32 laps here with the pace will go by very quick.
That's true, JB, and as opposed to other plate tracks, JB, 3 lines is not as readily available, right?
Yeah.
So, Flanagan getting a little sideways off the nose of Green.
He's pushing them, and if you're Flanagan, you got to have the balance of still like looking in front of you to make sure you stay on the track, but you're in your mirror trying to know where that 55 is going to get to you. You can kind of prepare, but it's hard to drive out of the windshield and the rear view mirror at the same time.
Well, Flanagan is trying right now. Oh my goodness! Kyle Speed
across the track.
Holy cow!
Speed's I don't know, Emerson, how wide this racetrack is, the exact measurement, but I think Speed's just used every inch of it.
Yeah, somebody sent him out there with one of those measuring sticks because he went from bottom to top. He
found the width of the racetrack right there.
Holy!
Wow. All I saw was the 36 truck fly across the screen. I initially thought he was sideways, but I guess that was controlled.
I thought he was goner.
Yeah, I did too. But here we are, and they're pushing these top 2.
Oh, they are.
The 5's not gonna have a rear bumper here pretty soon.
Austin DeLong
is wearing it out,
inserting himself into the mix. Big shoves from the 29 of James Jackson. How about Dalton McKinney, JB? Maybe, didn't get that playoff lucky dog. Maybe he's a little frustrated. What better way to try to wash away some of that pain than with a race victory?
Yeah,
has gone winless.
There's anybody that wants to win a race.
Yeah,
anybody that wants to win a race in this field, it's him. Like we kind of expect him to win multiple races this year. Things haven't gone his way, and that's how racing is. You got to have luck and skill, and I know he's got the skill. He just needs a little bit more of the luck, and maybe tonight. Maybe tonight's the dam breaks and goes on a run. Yes, unfortunately, that's not going to be a playoff run for him, but hey, a couple race wins never hurt anybody.
Yeah, his shot at 500 big ones ended last week, but he can still earn 30 tonight. And it's Flanagan and Green on the inside, DeLong and Jackson on the outside, and 27 laps to go. I'd imagine maybe in about 10-15 laps time, we could be seeing the 3rd lane starting to rumble around here. These guys want to do it.
We saw it late in that last run for. Honestly, Emerson, 3 more laps, and I thought they'd make it all the way around. But if that's a sign of what they can do at the end of this race, that's exactly what you see. The one caveat to that is you're not going to necessarily crack the throttle to give somebody a break like they were earlier. So those pushes that lead into somebody else, those are going to keep getting pushed, and that's when you see problems. And that's typically why we see every plate track end up green, white, chicken.
I'm with it. Chop my nose off lap 5. I might, lift, save us from wrecking.
Yeah.
Chop my nose off 5 to go.
Yeah.
Not necessarily going to cut you the same break.
Yeah, exactly. And man, I'm seeing on corner exit, you get it when we see the shots that kind of straight down the straightaway, watching you guys come up the corner. These trucks still are not handling good. I know they all just stopped for tires not that long ago, but they're already searching and sliding. And one bad push is all it's going to take.
25 laps to go. 4 trucks out of this race. Well, 3 trucks out of this race. Connor Cunningham is solo out there. He is the next truck to come up and get lapped by this field. It'll be interesting to see where they catch him and how this field gets around the 24 machine of Connor Cunningham.
He's about the distance of the back straightaway in front of the field, so I would think 3 or 4 more laps. Probably roughly when they're going to catch him. We'll see if he has the Dylan mindset and gives him some room to run, but he's about a second and a half slower off the pace. That just gives you an idea of how much the draft still means here at Atlanta.
Yeah, he lost 2 seconds just when we started talking about him. So Here we go. The push is getting aggressive. Cardi and McKinney,
Ooh,
5th and
Dan
6th.
Park back there got stuff top of 3 wide and all but kept it out of the fence. I think he came away unscathed, but he was white knuckling that 7 truck for sure right there. And if you're not paying attention, Emerson, you leave a lane open, they'll just take you out of line.
Oh yeah.
You leave some space down the bottom, they're gonna go right by you. I think that's what happened to Dan right there, but no harm, no foul. Kept everything pointed the right direction.
And remember, Dan, he did pick up some damage on the first caution of the night with Shane Ledoux, excuse me. So he'll be trying to.
Yeah, truck looks good though, and he's still in the lead pack, and looks like he has some pace. So all good.
New leader, Austin DeLong. Big push from James Jackson, but DeLong back out in front. He led a couple laps earlier. And now to 29 of James Jackson trying to find his way forward in that Celsius number 29. 21 laps to go. Jason Green and the Hopeless Astronauts 55 still wearing out the tailgate of the 5.
I'm gonna tell you what worries me is Jason Green in the corners. He's coming off that line a little bit on the bottom. That top line's getting a little close. I don't know if he's just trying to peek to the right of the 5 to get some air on the nose or be able to see. But the last couple times in the corner, he's coming up a little bit too far, and that top line's getting real close. And we know, Emerson, with the internets and the discrepancies they tend to have sometimes, getting close can still be an issue. So sometimes you want to have a little bit of margin of error in there. And there hasn't been much. And just look at the backstretch. These guys are pushing hard.
I mean, look, we got 24 people all across North America, all packed up, on the same virtual football field's length of space in vehicles, all trying to go for the same, point of contact, and not everything's gonna work perfectly.
Yeah, internet's not always gonna agree.
Jason Green jumps out of line. Jason Green trying to get around the 5, but Flanagan tries to go for the block. Connor now getting lapped. Now Flanagan has to get a push from Cardi. It's Green trying to hang on to the bumps from the 22.
And this mess up front has kind of jumbled the middle of the pack. Now we got 3 wide back there with Kyle Spees hung on the top, because when leaders change hands up front and slow a lineup, it jumbles everybody. Now we got a whole
3 lines.
Truck.
Here we go. McKinney trying to hang on. He's sideways. Shane Wolf is going to catch a face full of McDingers. Truck in the wall.
3 trips in the wall. Everybody's able to avoid him. It looks like Kratke, great maneuver. 90's not going to let him back up on the racetrack, I guess. They get it sorted out. That was the 3 truck from Radke that got the wall.
Oh, okay.
And he got it pretty substantially, Emerson. That's going to really hurt that 3 truck. We knew it was going to happen. I mean, they were all over the place there for a second. They're heavy right side damage, and he's probably got a little bit more issues.
Oh, yeah, he's got some suspension damage, man. That thing is not handling.
Yeah. He's gonna try to keep it between the lines and on the track, and if he gets lapped, you might see him pull it into that point if it lasts that long. But he's got to at least fight it out here with so few laps to go.
16 laps to go from Atlanta. Sideways, Spencer Brown nearly goes off the nose of Sean Merriman there, but everyone keeps it going, and it's David Flanagan, Jason Green out in front, but this time, as opposed to nose to tail, they're side by side.
How we haven't wadded it up 6 times already, Emerson, I don't know. But these guys are putting on I'd say one of the better races we've seen all season in progression. But they're keeping it clean. You look up, Emerson, 15 to go. Time for the gloves to get put away. It's time to go for it.
Yeah, the amount of time people live for you will grow a little less, and a little less every time that lap count ticks down. The less I'm jumping out of the throttle.
Is pushing that 5 truck around the racetrack. Yeah. I mean, I think all the way through the corner there, they were locked.
They're getting tight in the heart of the pack back there as well, but you're right, Cardi is... I mean, Flanagan's tailgate has been worn out.
Yeah, there's not much left there.
46 and McKinney, he had to file back in line. I don't know if he got the wall. He got close to the wall. He's trying to... nearly!
Oh, wow. He's going to shove it in that gap right there.
I thought he was trying to push before the team, but there he goes.
Wolf.
Yep.
Well, Shane Wolf shoved him out of line because McKinney gave up a little bit of room, and then Shane Wolf does the exact same thing, and McKinney goes, hey, wait a second here. I want that back. In the middle, if you're a truck in the middle by yourself, you know, you can
James
hold
Jackson's
on
going to join
decently.
him. Daniel Park is trying to join him. There's going to be a line here.
29 almost got squeezed out of the middle right there if you caught that.
Yeah,
that was really close.
Trying to hang on. The long nearly going to go around. Hold on, boys. Hold on. Oh, here we go. No. Spencer Brown, James Shane Wolf around, and the caution's going to come out somehow. Oh, we got a few more wrecking down here in the 3. I think we got away relatively unscathed. Dan Park.
Yeah.
A lot of damage.
Some light damage, I think. I mean, Shane Wolf, outside of that initial contact, I don't know he hit much, so he might still be okay.
I think the one who got it worse was Dan Park.
Yeah, the back of that truck was crunched up a little bit. It looks like the 90 got a piece too later in that. Like you said, there was some more action in the corner. We got a little bit to unpack here.
Yeah, we do. Oh, man.
You knew it was coming, though. I mean, you saw...
Oh, we saw for a half lap.
Yeah, every line was going to start being used, and when that happens, it just takes one little slip up, one little line change, and it all breaks loose.
Here we go. Everyone's getting aggressive. Everyone's trying to run everyone out of space, and
somebody gets the wall right here.
Yeah, the
I think it might be the 22. Yeah.
So Shane Wolf's trying to lift, but at some point Shane was like, "I gotta go, man. This is still a race." And so they come off the corner, and the 22 unloads. The 14 unloads from all the off camber. He was right there in the corner. Gets Dan Park. Park comes down, gets Spencer Brown. Kyle Spees is gonna get a piece of the action as well. And there they go.
Yeah, now you're just trying to find a place to go. And who was that snuck by on the inside? That was
a lot of them did.
Whoever almost got Shane Wolf. That whole group. And back here, you're just trying to avoid it. Ooh.
Oh man,
Godinez, yeah, unfortunately couldn't. I think that's Stroh Ruggles there that just says, you know what, I'm going to stop and just wait for this to clear itself out. And looks like he's going to get through okay. And I saw the 90 truck in 3 and 4 around, so he was the second part of that incident. No really hard hits there, though, Emerson. I think a lot of those guys are going to be okay. Just a little bit of truck-to-truck contact.
All right, JB, you can take a look at everything that goes on here down the back straightaway.
Yeah, just look at all that tightness, and you see the 22 already up the track there, and this is just where it's going to explode. Speed's got the wall there, but don't look too bad.
Oh, right there.
Corner. Oh, yeah, somebody got him.
I think that
right
was
in front of Jason Kradke.
Yeah.
Because, Emerson, you see all that room on the bottom there, that paved area? Good place to go, but you got to get back on the track at some point, and if you're carrying a lot of speed, that car's not going to turn left on the apron. So you're going to go back up on the racetrack, and it looks what happened there, and unfortunately, Jack Tallman was the worst of wear on that one.
And one more look here, on board with Dan Park.
It all gets jumbled up. It's like a funnel, It all funnels down, and there's nowhere to go, and ooh, substantial hit in the back, but the good news, Emerson, nothing really hit him really hard in the front.
Yep.
So I think he's going to be all right. But we're re-racking him, ready to go.
Yes, sir. Here we go.
Shorter field this time, but we're ready to rumble. And there's still quite a few clean trucks out here.
A lot of
clean
trucks.
And not a lot of people we've maybe not talked about tonight. Scott Kalaw out there, 23, still in a really clean truck. Ben Park's right next to him. They've kind of been buying their time. Ruggles still has a clean number 96 out there.
Connor gets his lap back by virtue of the lucky dog.
That's big, and probably more chance to get some repairs.
Yep. So Spencer Brown is still alive. Dan Park, his truck is still alive. Shane Wolf, no biggie. DeLong still running. Oh,
those guys are gonna be in a hurry to get back up front, though. That's gonna be the one thing is these guys that wrecked.
They're gonna be in a hurry, and they added
another lap.
Caution.
Yep. Good job by admins there. Obviously, they were still trying to get that sorted out. Anytime there's wave rounds, Emerson, you got to get caught up in a hurry and then try to get in line. Some people are trying to get behind you because there's a certain restart order.
But what that does, JB, it's another lap off the clock for those guys trying to go forward.
Yeah, exactly. That's You're 100% on that one. One less lap, but your Shane Wolfs, those guys are not going to be shy about getting back up there. And if I'm a driver in the back, if I'm being smart, I'm gonna follow him.
Oh yeah.
If Shane Wolf's on his way to the front, I'm gonna get in behind that number 14, and I'm gonna follow him right up through there. And there are a few trucks back there still fantastic shape, ready to rock. I mean,
Shane Wolf is the only guy out here with nothing to worry about as well.
Yeah, that is true. He's in the next round of the playoffs, so whatever happens, happens, and he's just going to be happy to, maybe get an interview tonight or collect a few dollars in winnings and take a week off and come back the following week and ready to go. Exactly. He's fine. Yeah, he's good with it. Get that lunch money going, and he'll be good to go. But I think we're in store for a wild sequence of events, Emerson. I know we only got 8 laps when we go green, but we're probably going to need more than that.
I think you're right, JB. I think you are right.
I have a feeling. I've seen this play out before. We're going to need some more.
We're going to need some more. We're working lap 82 of 90. Here from the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway, it's Flanagan, it's Carty, it's Green, it's Jackson, it's McKenney, Brady, DeLong, Merriman, and Babb. The top 10, the iRacing.com safety vehicles into safety of pit lane. Racing resumes from Atlanta, 8 laps to go. Flanagan leads them.
Oh, we got a wreck in the back.
Oh, there we go. Oh, Vickery.
Oh, Shane Wolf. Vickery. Oh,
and man. Joe Ruggles.
Well, Emerson, I said these guys were going to be in a hurry to get back to the front.
Well, now they're in a hurry to get back to the pits.
I think that's what that was there. We'll have to take a look at it, but considering it, I saw Shane Wolf in there, I'm going to gather that was part of the equation, but we'll take a look.
We'll see here, 3 wide. Ruggles didn't know they were 3 wide.
And they would have been okay there, but that last little bit there turned them up into the fence. That's no bueno.
And I get it, right? Shane Wolf was, being aggressive, and of anyone, back there with, with nothing to lose, it was Shane Wolf. But maybe he could have, waited a little bit.
Second. Yeah, I mean that's just the thing too. We
get in the high gear at least.
You don't have a lot of time here to get to the front, so you got to make it happen in a hurry. It does wait till the start-finish line, so that's all legal. The Ruggles is leaving quite a bit of space there too.
I guess that it was inviting. That's true.
Yeah. I mean, when there's that much space, that's just one of them deals. I mean, I would say if Ruggles was more in line with the truck in front of him, you put a little bit over aggression on Shane Wolf in that situation. But when you leave a truck and a half gap, a driver like Shane Wolf, no blame, is gonna take it.
Yeah. Now that I see it from that angle, I probably would have done the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, especially with how fast he's been all night. He knows he can go get a little bit more. He's definitely going to try. But that's part of the trouble, Emerson, of the front straightaway here. The angles and the lines. And somebody's blowing up down there on the bottom.
Oh, man,
I think that might have been Spencer Brown, I believe. Blowing up on the bottom. He's still out there. We'll see how that goes. Hey, luckily there's no virtual fluid being laid down. I know we saw the truck race.
We'd be red flagged for a little bit.
They had fluid around the entire bottom lane of the racetrack, and that took Emerson, 15, 20 minutes to clean up under red flag. Yeah. So luckily for our audience, that doesn't have to happen. And then luckily for the drivers, they don't get the speedy dry blown into the trucks by the jet dryers either.
Oh, man.
Which had to be one of the funniest things I've seen
that's
in
not
recent
a problem.
NASCAR history.
That's not a problem many people are thinking about, so...
Yeah, but that for anybody that hasn't driven a blowing up truck on the sim before, that 71 truck is going to not last very much longer. He might be trying to get a couple more laps out of it, but that thing's going to be...
Pick up every little scrap he can. I mean, heck, you didn't really get even a full green flag lap. I don't think that's I think that's Vickery back there. That is Jeffrey Vickery in the...
Okay, Vickery. Okay. Spencer Brown's right in front of him, so that's where I thought that was coming from. Spencer Brown, just hearing from admins change lanes before the start finish line. So he's
Oh,
gonna get
man.
an end of line start here.
And now Vickery pulling
Yeah,
off.
he's gonna pull it off.
And that'll do it. Well, JB, this restart is going to come with 6 miles to go, 4 laps to settle it. Advertised distance is 90 laps.
Like I said, Emerson, we're gonna need more. I don't think we're one and done here. I mean, hey, crazier things have happened. But
Yeah,
you know, modern day speedway racing, stock cars, the usual formula, green, white checkers.
Yep.
If we need it, though, Emerson, we do get 3. We do get 3 if we need it, but
I'll tell you
we'll
what,
see if we can knock that right now.
If we can race it back to the line on the white flag, we're gonna be able to.
And then all the gloves come off, and you're gonna just see the craziest. You think NASCAR's racing back to the line's been weird recently? Just wait till you see that. That would be a sight.
Oh, baby. So the iRacing.com safety vehicle finds its safety down in the pit lane. You got Flanagan, you got Carty, Green, Jackson, McKenney, Johnson, DeLong, Brady, Merriman, Babb, the top 10. Green flag back in the air, 4 to go. Here we go. This time we get up to high gear, and everyone trying to go forward. Flanagan and Carty.
Hard up front.
Yep. James Jackson wearing out the 59's tailgate. Jason Green trying again on Flanagan. Contact! James Jackson going around, up and over. The 29 goes. And there is the overtime.
And I think somehow he's going to be the only truck involved.
Wow.
In this, which, when you see the third truck, in the running order, completely sideways in front of the field, you usually don't see just one truck go out backwards.
When you are in the pack and you see the third truck in the running order's roof, you're in trouble.
Even larger emphasis on roof, then you're probably in trouble. There's definitely a few more trucks that got a ding or some damage in that, but James was the only one that looks like he's going to be worse for wear.
I cannot believe that.
I saw this because they went 3 wide. It looks like Kyle Johnson got an opening here and went for it. Which, I mean, hey, with 3 to go, that's doable. And
it was open, and then a little bit of contact. Made contact off the 29, then off the 46, and the 29.
And the back of that truck's going to go pointed, and he's getting pushed by the 48, so that thing's going to go up in the air a little bit.
And you know what?
Bo Brady sneaking by.
He might be okay. Well, the only truck involved, I should say.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
It wasn't really hard contact either, so he's definitely going to be able to continue. I don't know, how much necessarily pace he's going to have. And obviously lost track position, but not terminal by any means for sure. But it's right there, Emerson, where that little kink is on the front stretch, is where it just funnels out of rim. You see that line come up, and Dalton McKinney's just trying to follow that line, but the natural progression of the line comes up a little bit, and it just runs 3 wide out of rim. Especially considering where 29 was running, and and I don't blame Kyle for shooting that gap right there.
With 3 laps to go,
that's what you do. Yeah,
absolutely.
One of them racing deals, and part of the geometry of Atlanta played into that one. I really believe. You see it right there, right where that kink is. You can see that's just where it all starts.
Whoa.
I don't know how Bo Brady. I guess he had to make the split-second decision. He wasn't going to go to the right, and it worked for him. But that could have been big if that hole closed up faster.
Here we go. This is
going to look at it here.
Oh boy,
baby.
Oh man.
It's quiet for a second.
Yep. All that.
I would be interested to know if he was holding the brake that whole time there while he's in the air. We saw Ryan Preece, when he took off like a plane. They made jokes that he stepped on the brake because the wheel stopped turning. But sometimes you're just trying to find something in the vehicle to hold on to, while you're going over.
Yeah, I mean, he got lucky, he stayed on the ground. You know, they're not going as fast as they do at Daytona here, so you got that, but
Yeah, I
wow.
just blinked out right there. I don't know if you caught that, but
Yep.
that could be a development if he's having some internet issues there, especially with a green-white checker at a drafting track. That's not necessarily something you want.
Yep, I was going to say the other development is we are on lap 91 of 90. So, the race is not over. Oh, there he goes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
That could be trouble.
Oh, man. Not the
We're gonna have to keep
time.
an eye on that, yeah.
Man, Dalton McKinney is freaking out right now.
Yeah, well, Dalton McKinney just got on the driver chat and was like, oh, boy. Because you know what? You can't push a truck that doesn't exist.
Yep.
So that could become problematic, and it's not getting better either.
And then if you're pushing him on Cardi's screen, he's going to be registered as getting pushed. McKinney can just push right through him, and then Cardi comes back and right into the middle of the field, and carnage can ensue.
Yeah. We'll see if Admin's let this go here, but that's going to be trouble.
That's going to be interesting. Green, white, checkered. 3 attempts at it. First is the green flag. If we get a caution before we get to the white flag, we'll re-rack and do it again. If we get to the white flag, next flag, be it caution or checkered, will end the race. Granted, it'll be checkered. The iRacing.
Keep an eye on that 59 truck. This could be interesting.
Safety vehicles into the pit lane. Flanagan, Cardi. Green flag in the air. It's overtime from Atlanta. Cardi desperately trying to get down. Green all over the tailgate of the 59. Cardi has to jump back up. DeLong trying to shove through McKinney. Everyone trying to find 4th gear.
We have good momentum up top, but the bottom line's still organized well. It's dead heat down the backstretch.
Truck down low. It's Sean Merriman trying to not come back up into traffic. Coming out of turn 4. 1 lap to go. Here from Atlanta, it's Flanagan, it's Cardi. Who's going to get back to the line first?
Who's going to have the better pusher is what it looks like to me. Top line's a little bit better organized here, but we've seen Jason Green be loyal to the 5 all race long.
Out of turn 2, down on the bottom. There goes Kyle
turned.
Johnson. Many trucks going around, but the push for the race win continues. This is Cardi. It's Flanagan. Here goes McKinney. Oh,
Kenny's going to shoot the gap. See if he can side draft the 5. He's going to get into the
contact, and Flanagan is going to win.
Wow.
Oh, man. That means that crash back there was pretty gnarly that the sim was trying to keep up. But we were able to keep up at least. McKinney shot it through the middle. He tried to take it away. And Flanagan is going to the next round, JB.
Man. Hey, and Flanagan deserves it. He ran up front the entire race, Emerson. Took every push he was getting. Kept the handle on that truck. Emerson, you know what I take this back to? That pit stop he made on that first caution. He came down, drove up through the field and then just kept that track position. I said that's what he was going to have to do, and it ended up being the safest place, and he got it done. But what a fantastic finish we had there. Jason Green pushing. Dalton McKinney shot the gap, and unfortunately for Cardi, he got the short end of the stick there on the last lap. But it's just good to see those 5 drivers just go for it. And we had another SRN classic finish here this evening.
Flanagan burns it down as they're 3 wide and slamming each other across the line. And
we have to get a replay of this finish.
We will.
Show that to you, because that was... It seems like when a truck wants to shoot that middle gap, that's honestly the best place to be, because you get the momentum of the top and the side draft of the truck on the bottom. But Jason Green stayed loyal to that 5 truck, and that ended up proving to be the difference. But like you said, Emerson, this moves Flanagan on to the next round of the playoffs. That's big.
I think it's only his 2nd win in SRN. He won Darlington back in December to get him into the playoffs, and he'll blow it up. And you know what, Flanagan, he likes to tout that he's a plate race, driver. And so we'll see how, how he reacts here. But we're going to watch the final lap before we get to that point. So this is the final lap, 1 lap to go. Kyle Johnson's the first truck that I saw go around here. So there he is in the thick of the pack. And off the corner, little contact there from Bo Brady to send the 48 down low, and Bo Brady finishes the job.
Yeah, that's just the last lap. Everybody's pushing. Nobody's going to give any room. And
Tallman and Babb get in that incident. And then...
yeah, it takes out some trucks having really good runs.
Ben Park involved.
Look at Connor shooting through there.
Oh, wow. Oh.
That got him a top 10 finish, by the way. Somebody else, I think that was James Jackson, shot through there as well. He came home 9th.
Another truck
all the way
from Spencer Brown. Oh, yep, more
he was
trucks.
Almost upside down.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, they're slamming into each
9th.
other.
Yeah. Well, like I said, Emerson, on the last lap, iRacing doesn't throw a caution.
And I think right there,
you're gonna race
slam,
back to it.
That slam.
Yeah.
The sim was like, oh, man, what's going on back there?
Sim said, I'm done. I quit. That was enough.
So, here's the run.
Some of those trucks that were able to sneak by, that got them a good finish. But this right here, man, this was just everybody's going for it.
Look at that sideways. Look at him driving that thing.
I told you, Jason Green was the best pusher we saw all day. He was loyal to that 5. He pushed him right on through there. This would be a great look at it here in this last lap.
Yeah. Here they come out of turn 2. See the aggression start to ramp.
That's just going to be in the back.
Come to a point.
Oh, big hit. Oh, big hits too, like you said. And then it's just on to the top 5, pretty much. They were there for the win. Wow, some of these guys are flying through there. And look at this coming off the corner.
Here they come to you.
Man. What you want to see? Good finish.
Yeah.
We got some guys to talk to.
Oh, yeah, we do. Then we're going to go ahead and grab our self-proclaimed plate racing prowess here. David Flanagan gets his 2nd career SRN victory. Finally gets one done here at these plate races. David, how about it? You're on to the next round.
Yeah, it feels great. Definitely a confidence booster. I was kind of let down after Chicagoland, qualified pole, and just got caught up in something I couldn't really stay out of. And I was determined this week and kind of just controlled really what I thought the whole race and just put it all together there at the end.
You sure did. And David, this race really all came down to that lap 18 pit stop where many drivers followed you down pit lane, but they were not as aggressive working their way through the field afterwards. What was your thought process when that caution came out that you were going to take tires and that you were going to just run right back through the field? Why was that your thought process? And then why did it work?
Yeah, definitely in Atlanta, it's a place where you want to be up front. It's hard to miss wrecks here. So I wanted to use the tires that I had and get back up to the front. And, the guys were willing to give it to me because, it was lap 28 and they don't really want to be stuck 3 wide dealing with me. So a lot of it was on them. And luckily I was able to make some moves and get back up front and get to the bottom where ultimately I stayed the whole race.
And then we saw your tailgate was getting worn out today by Green, by Cardi, and Velat pushing that 5 machine. How were you able to hang on to that thing?
Yeah, it's definitely comes down to an experience thing, and just don't worry about the pusher and just hold my line. And if they accidentally hook me, try and save it. If not, then just hang on for the ride. But it's definitely like a trust thing. Just trust the person behind you. Don't swerve. Hold your line and just get it done.
Well, David, you are on to the next round. What does that say about you, and what do you think about your chances now?
Yeah, I was definitely stressing out if I didn't get a good finish here because I know Dover's a tough track. I don't know how I fare there. Hopefully pretty good. But takes the relief off so I can go into the next round, start practicing there, and hopefully get into the championship round ultimately where we want to be.
Well, David, congratulations. The self-proclaimed plate track prowess here at SRN gets one done. So, David, congratulations on a hard-fought Atlanta victory, man.
Thanks, man.
That was driver of the number 5, our race winner tonight, David Flanagan. He is on to round number 2.
From
And now,
14th in the standings,
yeah,
Emerson, by the way, out of the cut to the next round.
out
That's
of
big.
the cut. Insane. Now, the driver who was probably the next happiest is the guy who playoff lucky dogged his way into the playoffs. And now, after that playoff, Lucky Dog suits himself with a second place finish here at Atlanta. Jason Green. Now, Jason, I know you wanted that win, and we'll get to, what more you could have done in a second. But man, how has these last 2 weeks been? From just a little over, a week ago, you weren't even contending for a championship. Now you made the playoffs, and now you're right in the thick of it.
Yeah, I mean, told you, Emerson. I know what I'm doing here. No, it's gaining some luck, right? And finally being up front, it's good. It's definitely nice to be up front. I knew going into today, just had to string together a good finish. I think going into the race, I was like 3 to the cut line or something like that after last week's decent finish. So had to make sure we get at least like a top 5 out of today, and we were able to get that done.
And Jason, now, I know you did, come second. It's a play race, I get that, but what more could you have done differently to get around David Flanagan? It seemed like all day you were pushing him, and he could hang on to the push no matter what you were giving him.
Yeah, I think coming off of 4 on that last lap, I gave him a heck of a push in between 3 and 4, and I knew if he did get a little loose, it was going to kind of go up the track. But I was laughing with Dalton. Like, he was like, he took it 3 wide, so there's like nowhere for him to even go. And I knew coming into it, had to get a good finish. I didn't think I was going to have any room that I could actually go into, so just decided to push him to the win. But yeah, coming off of 4, I think there was a little bit of a gap that I probably could have filled, but just didn't decide to do it, I guess. But we'll take it. It's all good.
Well, Jason, now you look towards Dover. Quite the different track as opposed to the last 2 weeks. What do you think about your chances at Dover? And, what say you now about your playoff chances?
Yeah, Dover's a decent track for me, I would say. I mean, it definitely just eats tires up really, really bad. So you have to be able to pace your run really well. I think with a lot of the guys, or with the playoffs starting now, I think a lot of the guys are starting to be a little bit less aggressive, I would say. And so that's going to make for long green flag runs. So you just have to be really good with pacing your tires. Because I usually just got to try and feed the bottom as best you can, but it's a fast track and you really have to make sure you're hitting your line every single time, or else you're just going to get eaten up. So it's definitely going to be a challenge next week.
Well, Jason, congratulations on the second place finish tonight. Best luck to you next time out at Dover.
Thanks, Emerson. Appreciate it.
And there it is, driver of the number 55, our second place finisher this evening. And now we'll have the chance to talk to our third place finisher tonight, driver of the number 46, Nat Cotton Candy Blue and Pink McDingers, number 46, Dalton McKinney. Dalton, it's been a minute, man. How you doing?
Boy, you're not kidding. It has been a rough year for the old 46 team, so nice to be talking to you here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we were looking very intently on you and Jason battling it out for that playoff lucky dog last week. I know it didn't come to be, but you do get yourself a podium finish tonight here at Atlanta. At least you'll win your entry fee back. What was that race like? What more you have done on that final lap? What was going through your mind there?
Well, I mean, not being in the playoffs, and then there for the last 10 laps or so, I didn't really have any playoff teammates up there in the top 10, so I was pretty aggressive. I was shoving more than I usually would, and I was filling holes I usually wouldn't. Just not much to risk. I was just here to try to get a win tonight. So kind of once I got track position, that was huge. There at the beginning of the race, I was riding around the back. Got some fresh tires on a time or two, and kind of started making my way up through the field. And once I got there inside the top 5, I just kind of started minding my time and trying to get to the end of the race. And once we had them, green, white, checker, them last few restarts, it just kind of anyone's race at that point. So just trying to give myself a shot, and was hoping someone would push me, and just didn't get the push when I needed it.
Hold on, it was quite the race out there, and you mentioned right that you were getting a little more aggressive. I know it's kind of dependent on if what playoff teammates you had, if they were up there contending. But you started towards the back of the field, 20th in qualifying, so you have to really work your way through the field, and it's not that easy to pass. What was it like coming through the field? Having to work through one another, only really having 2 lines for the majority of the race.
Yeah, you're mainly just kind of riding your line, and then once I would kind of pick out a car that I was next to, and then once I would get 2-3 cars in front of him, whether they were checking up or something like that, then I would move down, and you would just kind of try to advance your position in the line, and then once that outside line moved back, you would try to find a hole and move back up, and just kind of rotate your way up through there. It's if you got fresh tires especially, and if you're able to run 3 wide, a lot of guys tonight were really struggling on holding the line 3 wide, and I understand that towards the end of the run, the front ends were washing and it was tough, but I felt pretty good in the middle 3 wide, so I was using that a lot to advance my position too when I needed to.
You certainly did look confident there in that middle, and thank you. That was a pretty good description of how to do it here with those 2 lines. That was actually an awesome description. But Dalton, congratulations on your 3rd place finish tonight. Best luck to you next time out at Dover, man. Hopefully we're talking to you again.
Yeah, I'd like to thank my girlfriend with Birdie's Blooms. That's what this wrap is. Johnny Williams painted this for me, and I think it's funny you called it the cotton candy machine, because whenever I messaged Johnny for this scheme, I told him, I was like, I'll throw some cotton candy colors on it. So I guess it's got the vibe that we were looking for. So shout out to him for always having me look good in all the leagues I've run. And yeah, thank you guys for broadcast, and shout out to Threat Level Midnight Motorsports and all them guys, and hopefully we can get one of them top of the championship here at the end of the playoffs.
Absolutely, and there it is, driver of the number 46, our 3rd place finisher tonight, Dalton McKinney, and how he recaps the evening. And he really did give a nice description there, how difficult it is to pass here, JB. He described it, kind of, pick the line that's moving.
One of the best ways I've ever heard it explained, to be honest. But that just shows you, when you're in it like that's just the best option. Emerson, I sent you some graphics, so I'll give you a second to get those up on the screen for us, because since you did such a great job handling the interviews, I was able to get the points done already. So we have a new update on where the standings are, as far as the playoff standings, and a little thing we have going on next week we'll talk about as well. But just a fantastic race through and through. I mean, you heard from everybody in their interview, handling was a factor, which is always going to make a race good. Yeah. It's always going to make a race good, but just keeping that in the back of these guys' mind made it to where they couldn't be foot on the throttle the whole time, right? And that's what usually leads to when we see super speedway races where, unfortunately, a lot of carnage, start and stop, no green flag runs, because they can hammer down the whole time. But tonight we really saw a good balance of them kind of having to manage a little bit, maybe be smart about a few moves, just because handling was such a factor. I was a little weary too when we decided to have an Atlanta playoff race, because you always wonder about having a super speedway race in the playoffs. NASCAR does it, so I guess it's perfectly acceptable then, right? But it turned out to be a great race, and definitely a track we'll consider keeping there in the playoffs as well. But just such a good event from start to finish.
Well, before we get to the playoff settings, we got to go through our race results. Let's recap how everything came down to the wire here. JB, it was David Flanagan, the race winner. Moving on to the next round, Jason Green finishes 2nd, Dalton McKinney 3rd, Drake Carty 4th, Austin DeLong the top 5, Scott Kalal, Connor Cunningham, Daniel Park, James Jackson, Dylan Godinez the top 10, and from there, JB, it was trying to get it back to the line.
Yeah, these guys were just flying through that wreckage you see in the background. That started with Jason Kratkin 11th, Spencer Brown 12th, Sean Merriman 13th, Kyle Spees 14th, Zachary Tallman 15th, Joe Ruggles in 16th. From here on back, it was just a disaster. Kyle Johnson in 17th, Jeffrey Radke 18th. You see right in the wall right behind right there. Ben Park 19th, and Wally Baum round out the top 20.
21st, Daytona race winner Chris Luttrell not able to make it happen again. 22nd place will be Lane Doyle. 23rd, Bo Brady. Bo Brady 1 lap off the pace. Jeffrey Vickery finishes 24th, 7 down. James Shanewell 25th, 9 down. Michael Sidor finishes 26th, 41 down. 27th to Andrew Harris, he'll finish 42 down. And Shane Ledoux, the first exit of the evening, he'll finish 28th, 62 laps off the pace. So that is how everyone came to the checkers or didn't this evening, JB. Now we will take a look at those playoff standings, and here they are, JB. There it is. Shane Wolf and Flanagan locked in, and from there, it is tight. It is really tight.
Yeah. You think we're gonna have a fun race at Dover in 2 weeks, Emerson?
Oh yeah.
Oh boy,
man,
it's gonna get interesting. I mean, just let's take this for a second. Basically, the top 2 are safe. Nobody else is safe. Yeah, 9 points is an easy swing. As much as like Connor Cunningham's thrilled he's in 3rd right now, it should be as good as if he's in 8th, pretty much. I mean, that's just what you're looking at. That's the nature of the fact. Andrew Harris, Sean Corcoran, those guys must-win scenarios, I truly believe. Don't think you're going to be able to make up that many points in just one event. But, Sean Merriman on up. I mean, a few good breaks, get those bonus points from the pole, leading a lap, leading the most laps, no incident points. I mean, we could have a tie. And for those wondering how that works, ties do get in. So if we have a tie at 10th between 3 drivers, we'll have 12 drivers in the next round. We don't cut by tiebreakers. We just, if you have enough points, you're in. So that'll change a little bit of the pay structure and stuff too, of course. But it will ultimately just keep the excitement going. But Emerson, in recent history, I know we've had tight cut lines, but this is probably the tightest entire playoff standings we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think definitely because Atlanta here in the mix early in the playoffs has a big factor in that. I mean, but anyone 3rd to 14th could easily be in or out, with one move next week at Dover. That is an 18-point swing between 3rd and 14th, and we had 28 drivers tonight. So I guess technically Andrew Harris could point his way in. It's gonna be really difficult, but he can do it mathematically. Sean Corcoran, unless we have a 36 truck field next week, I don't think it's mathematically possible for Sean Corcoran to point his way in. Corcoran is in a must-win situation, but that is by virtue of not showing up tonight. But yeah, I mean, Connor and Lane Doyle and Jason Green, 9 points to the good. Kyle Spieth 7, Cardi 6, Johnson 4, Radke 4, Godinez 1 point to the good. Chris Luttrell, he was 5th in the playoff standings. One little, he didn't even have a bad race. He just, didn't really have a great race. And Luttrell now down in 11th. He's outside the cut. He's 1 point back. Dan Park 2 back. Ben Park 5 back. Both the Park brothers have some work to do next week. And Sean Merriman 9 back. I mean, that is a tight cut line.
Yeah, and what I take out of that, Emerson, is always, points are going to be, you're going to have close races here and there, all that good stuff. What I take from it, look at the drivers below the cut line. That's some good drivers. And so that changes it even more, because any of those guys, 11th through 16th, could win next week.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks, honestly. And that changes the entire scope of this whole thing. So, man, I think NASCAR's not doing it right. They need to do it like we do. Because this is this is entertaining. But I think part of it why you're seeing this now this year is, we used to have stages and all the stage points added up, and there were just wider spreads throughout the race. But now, when it's just based on the results and whatever bonuses are built into each race, you gotta execute a good race. And yes, Andrew Harris, mathematically, if he has a perfect race next week, and then the likes of Kyle Johnson, Radke, and Godinez have problems, it's possible. But, I mean, if you're Chris Luttrell, if you're Dan Park, if you're Ben Park, and you're just 5 points out, you got a balance of putting yourself in a position to finish really high, because that pays off, obviously, a lot of points. But if you have a chance to lead a lap,